15-year-old in Compton is walking home from school every day. She comes home to an empty house and her mom leaves a note on the table and it says, "Working late tonight, Hot Pockets in the freezer, love you." And it always irks me, like Hot Pockets, really? And so, there are so many teens all over LA who lack supervision, and many making a lot of adult decisions, including what is the best nutrition, when more than likely they're gonna choose Hot Cheetos, Pepsi, and Skittles. So, reinventing integrative cooking opportunities, or RICO, is the creation of an amazing student from CSUN, Victoria Ayala. And this has been running for 2 years. So in this project, we have been able to reach teenagers with nutrition education, culturally appropriate cooking skills and recipes, and then above all else, a healthy meal. So this empowers them to make better choices and influence their family and friends to also make better nutritional choices. It provides the opportunity for them to share the meal that their parents didn't have time to make, but for them to make it, and for them to add the missing link in the family and the familiar structure through a meal. So for the past 2 years, we've been working within the systems present around the teenagers to influence change. We've been able to partner with the Teen Club, which is a result of Class Parks and GRID. And GRID is gang reduction and youth development. So this is where our opportunity for change and where our cooking classes were possible. So the cooking classes occur over a period of 6 weeks, once per week, and up to 3 times per year. So we started with Sun Valley, and we're now moving into Pacoima and then also in Compton. So these communities are commonly plagued with obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, and so many other diseases that are very preventable. So as a member of Compton, I can tell you that being from this community, my family is very much so, many of them have suffered from obesity, diabetes, and high blood pressure. So in these communities, so not only do they not have the knowledge generally to make better decisions, but they also don't have the availability of fresh fruits and vegetables. So quite frankly, yes, EBT and WIC and all of these other government programs do exist to help these needy families, but we can be honest. If you have $500 in food stamps, your rent is $1,500 and you only make $2,000 a month, are you really concerned with making that $500 stretch, or with me getting the most expensive nutritional item in the store? So more than likely, you're going to buy processed, sugary, salty foods because it's the cheaper, more convenient choice. So here's where, again, we've been given an opportunity to empower. We have been able to go out into these communities and teach these teens about why healthy options are great for their developing minds, their bodies, and therefore their body image. We've been able to teach them about the importance of food labels. We've been able to teach them about the effects of their future and their health. We've been able to teach them the skills that they can take home. We've been able to give these hungry teens meals. And in the past 2 years, we've been able to reach 360 teens and their families in Sun Valley alone. We've been successful with them because we are these kids and we do come from these communities. So we're asking for $200,000 so that we can continue providing this free service in these communities. This money will allow us to continue our expansion beyond Sun Valley, so further beyond Pacoima and Compton. This will allow the program to remain accessible to these teens whose families cannot take on an additional expense, while still empowering the youth to be more knowledgeable and take action on their own. This will also provide a high-quality program of durable equipment, healthy produce, educational materials, community volunteers, and even guest professionals. So our vision to reinvent cooking opportunities and integrate powerful lessons and role models for these teens. Thank you.
So you're a little over 4 minutes.
Okay.
Take your full 5.
Yeah, take the full 5.
Well, we had a video
Okay.
that we're working on.
Okay. The first one I have is, it's more deliberate. You have to take your hair out.
Oh, yeah.
We
I wrote that too.
Yeah.
We talked about it.
Yeah.
And we had this with a presenter a couple years ago. She would constantly do this with her hair. She had to wear her hair up
Yeah.
when she was presenting so she wouldn't fuss with it, but it was distracting me a little bit. I just feel like you guys are bouncing around a lot
Yeah.
in your structure because there's a lot of good and a lot of bad, and I know you want to go like, here's what's bad, here's what's good, it could be this, it could be this, but it's too rapid.
Okay.
So explicitly, what is the program, good stuff it's doing, yay, you know, so just kind of breaking it, I
What's the
wouldn't.
bad, what's the good?
Yeah, I wouldn't ping pong it so much because you're bouncing between food desert stuff, body image stuff, obesity, diabetes, health outcomes,
Loneliness at home.
loneliness at home, and it's great because you're touching on all these different components, and you know it's awesome that it's hitting all these points. But figuring out a way to really articulate, we're going to make this impact for the individual teen working in the program. We're going to make this impact on their family. Boom, boom, boom. We're going to make this impact in their community. Da 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 da. And just being very explicit about what layer it's at. So you're not, because I was kind of like, okay, we're doing this a lot, and it was almost too much because it was so many different domains.
Okay.
So should we focus on a fewer aspects and let them breathe for a little bit longer?
I don't know.
Okay.
I would
Maybe
try to
experiment.
keep everything in for right now, and we can edit stuff out later.
Mhm.
But I would just be very, because there's so much at so many different levels, that's positive. Kind of be clear about what those different levels are. So it can be body image, it can be food, but like just be very clear about what each of those are. Also, you mentioned grid, and I know that's part of LA Parks.
Oh, I looked it up.
Or
It
LA
is
Mayor's.
LA
City
Mayor's,
of LA,
okay.
City of LA for both class and grade.
Okay, so just, you kind of rush through that, and that's such a great, credible, it lends such credibility to the program, so it's letting that breathe more.
Okay.
So, and you know what, I would actually, so you set the table with Gracie, story in the beginning.
Mhm.
But I think,
Oh,
but
we talked about
one
Yeah.
reason why I feel like it's going like this
Yeah.
is because she's only connecting to one aspect of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
If you're gonna use her, she's the person people are having in their mind, so you're talking
Yeah.
about different causes and outcomes. They have to connect back with some element of her story. Gracie can have a brother, right? Especially if you're gonna talk about anti-gang stuff or something like that. Or, you can really set it up with that, and not only that, but like, what I heard from Gracie was like, oh, that's kinda sad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't really,
Okay.
I mean, there's much bigger problems than somebody eating Hot Pockets.
Right.
Yeah.
Because their mom's working late.
Right.
So you can really think about the negative outcomes, and make sure if you're gonna bring Gracie back, you can bring her back. It could even be with poor outcomes or something like that.
And I would do it either Gracie, or you said, I live here, my family lives here. I would do one or the other. I wouldn't do both.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And also, my big question was, so what is your program? Is it they get a free meal or that they learn how to cook? Because you're talking about they have $500 a month in food stamps, which is for the family, but what are you giving the family that's going to change how the family eats? Or is it really, we're bringing a kid in who doesn't eat well and doesn't have a place to go and doesn't know how to take care of themselves, and we're teaching them how to cook and giving them a meal, but we're sending them back to their same environment because the income in the family doesn't change. So I was, even though I know your project, I was like, wait a minute, so what is your project going to do long-term for either the kid, the family, or the community that is gonna make a change? Other than it just being one meal, a healthy meal that they can eat and that they can learn to prepare, so maybe one day they would do it again. But if they go home and there's nothing to cook and they have no place to buy it and they have no money to buy it with because they have to stretch their money, then
You were great at painting that bleak picture.
yeah.
We were with you.
Yeah. So I was really not sure, what is the success? You've been doing this for a few years. What do I see in a kid who started this program 2 years ago?
And I want to say the sustainability.
Right.
It's like you're asking this money, 200,000 to do this in your areas, but how would you make it sustainable now? Like, there has to be something you tie it back, and that would be a question. Not all the funders would come back again and again and fund this program, so you can show it's sustainable.
And instead of saying the name of the student who created it, I would just say it's student run, student created, student run. Stick with that.
I
what I wanted to tell you, it's funny because I was thinking about Grace when you were talking. I don't remember Grace. I actually, what you left me with was an image of Cheetos, Skittles, and Pepsi.
And Hot Pockets.
But it sounds interesting because you got me. Like, I was like, that's what you're up against.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? A life of Cheetos, like Skittles, and Pepsi, and the cost of that is low.
We're gonna end up with you.
I know, exactly. I know exactly. I feel like going, you know, you're coming to me. Let me try to catch my pride so I can catch the people that are about to land in Venice Family Fun. But the thought to me about making it really real, like it's here. Okay, I've been watching Queer Eye a lot, and Queer Eye says family is lost. Sitting at a meal and eating your heritage, right? And eating healthy. It's now quick and separate and this whole thing. And so one of the 5 guys, every single episode, says how important the moment of breaking bread in the way that is loving and healthy is profound. I think you should watch a few of those. He says it every time. But the thing that I get is I think that's what you're saying. And because what I, like the first time I heard you're helping hungry people have food, like when you spoke before. What I'm also hearing, there's something about that I don't know more, and I didn't live it, but does that resonate with what I'm saying somehow?
It's
Yeah.
much more about it.
Yeah, because looking at outcomes, it's more like going back to you do this and what you're up against is Cheetos, Skittles, and Pepsi eaten in a car, probably. You know what I mean? Like a fast food lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yes, that I also sometimes do. But I was just like fascinated. So anyway, that is funny, but I was like, that's your bad guy right there in some ways. You set it up so nicely, so I'm like, beat the bad guy, and this is how we're beating him, and this is how we're making it warm and healthy and connected and going forward.
And if you're gonna put data in there, all that stuff about eating family meals really is the one that changes outcomes for.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great.
I wanted to add that when you started with Gracie, and that was a great story, but then you said something, and then I was there with you, and that was when you were putting down your tablet or your notepad, and you said, "I always hate that it's red, or that it's Hot Pockets." And having come from that myself, I was like, God, I always hated that it was Hot Pockets. Like I was, so it was something about you saying "I always" that all of a sudden I was in the story with you because you were there for me.
You may
So-
want to be the example.
Yeah.
If any of this is an
Yeah.
example, not Gracie, but you.
Yeah.
No pressure, but we'll clap for you either way.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.